The diner is quiet. Too quiet. The clatter of dishes in the back barely hides the sting of a voice rising from the corner booth. A man in a suit points his finger sharply, his words cutting through the air like glass. "You're done here. Get your apron off. You're fired." The waitress freezes, her hands still trembling from serving steaming soup to the stranger just moments before. Her chest tightens, eyes watering, but she doesn't speak. She just stares at the man, her boss, trying to understand what crime she has committed. And the stranger, the one she thought was just another customer, he sits still, silent, watching. His eyes hold something strange, something unreadable. Before we continue, if you're watching for the first time, Elliot Stories welcomes you with a warm hug. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and tell us the city you're watching from. The air is heavy. Every pair of eyes in the diner now rests on her. Some customers whisper, others look away, pretending not to notice. Her boss's voice slices again. "You want to hand out free meals? You do it somewhere else. Not in my restaurant." The waitress clenches her fists. She wants to shout. She wants to explain. But her throat burns as if words might choke her. She lowers her head, unties her apron, and sets it gently on the counter. The diner she gave her life to suddenly feels like a prison spitting her out. She walks out with nothing but her coat, and questions that claw at her mind. Why? What did she really do wrong? And why did the stranger watch it all in silence? Her name is Rachel. A single mother. 2 jobs. Nights of exhaustion. Days of fighting to hold it all together. The diner wasn't just work. It was survival. Every paycheck meant rent, food, her daughter's school shoes. Rachel wasn't perfect. She was tired. She sometimes slipped. But she had heart. Everyone in the diner knew her kindness, refilling cups for old men who couldn't pay, sneaking pie to children with hungry eyes. That morning had been no different. The stranger walked in, unshaven, clothes rough, carrying the weight of a man who hadn't been cared for. He asked quietly if the soup was fresh. Rachel had smiled, leaned closer, and said, "I'll make sure it is." She had slipped him extra bread, her voice low, "On the house." That small act of mercy cost her everything. Her boss stormed out from the back, face red, eyes like fire. He accused her of stealing from the business, of disrespecting the rules. She tried to explain, "He looked hungry, I just thought," but the words never had a chance. He shouted over her, humiliated her in front of everyone, and fired her on the spot. And the stranger just sat there, silent. That silence haunted her all night. She lay awake in her small apartment, her daughter asleep in the next room. Every shadow on the wall seemed to whisper the same question. Why didn't he say anything? By morning, rumors spread. The diner staff gossiped in group chats. Customers whispered online. Rachel was painted as careless, wasteful, someone who didn't respect the business. She felt crushed beneath shame. But something else happened too. At the heart of town, people began to share a different story. They spoke of Rachel's kindness, of her years of serving without complaint, of her warm smile even on the hardest days. Regulars who loved her began to wonder aloud, what really happened yesterday? Rachel didn't know it, but a storm was brewing. Meanwhile, the stranger, the man who had sat silently as she was fired, walked through the city with his mind racing. He wasn't just a customer. He wasn't even who Rachel thought he was. He was the undercover boss, sent by the company's head office to investigate the diner, to see how employees were treated. His silence yesterday wasn't indifference. It was calculation. He had seen enough to know something dark was hiding behind the diner's polished front. Rachel woke the next morning to a knock at her door. She hesitated, heart pounding. Who could it be this early? When she opened it, her breath caught. It was him, the stranger from the diner. "Rachel," he said softly, his voice carrying both weight and warmth, "we need to talk." Her eyes narrowed. "Why should I listen to you? You watched me lose everything. You just sat there." He lowered his head. For the first time, she saw regret in his eyes. "You don't know who I am," he said. "But tomorrow, everyone will." Rachel froze. Her mind whirled. Who was this man? What did he mean? The truth was about to break open, and it would leave everyone speechless. The next morning explodes with whispers across town. Phones buzz. Social media feeds light up. A video appears, footage from the diner. Somehow, everything Rachel lived through, every word, every humiliation, is online. The title reads, "Waitress fired for helping a hungry customer." Rachel stares at her cracked phone screen in disbelief. The video spreads like wildfire. Comments pour in. "Heartless boss. She did nothing wrong. Rachel deserves better." People who had once looked away now rally behind her. Strangers send her messages of support. Former customers post stories of her kindness. But that isn't the twist. The twist comes when the local news reveals the man at the table. Not a stranger. Not a drifter. The undercover boss. Rachel's jaw drops as she watches him on live television. His face is the same one she served soup to. The same face that watched her be torn down. But now his voice is steady, clear. "My name is Daniel Carter," he says into the cameras. "I am the regional director for this diner chain. Yesterday, I witnessed something unacceptable. An employee fired for kindness. That employee's name is Rachel. And today, I want the world to know the truth." Rachel can hardly breathe. Her heart thunders in her chest. Daniel continues. "She wasn't stealing. She wasn't careless. She was doing what every decent human being should do, helping someone in need. For that, she deserves praise, not punishment." The town erupts. Her boss, red-faced and cornered, tries to defend himself. He mutters about rules and profits, but no one listens. His empire of fear crumbles under the weight of truth. Daniel looks directly into the cameras. "Rachel," he says, his voice gentle, "if you're watching this, I want you to know, you are not fired. In fact, from today, you're promoted. You'll be leading customer service training across all our diners. Because what you showed wasn't weakness. It was strength." Rachel's knees buckle. Tears stream down her cheeks. Her daughter runs to her, wrapping her small arms around her waist. "Mommy, they know you're good. They know." The next day, Rachel walks back into the diner. But not as a waitress. As a leader. Customers clap as she enters. Some cry. The same place where she was humiliated now rises to its feet to honor her. Her boss, stripped of power, can barely look at her. He mumbles something about leaving the company. No one stops him. Rachel stands tall, her voice steady. "This isn't about me," she says. "It's about what kindness can do. About remembering that people matter more than rules. And I will make sure no one in this company forgets that again." The diner walls echo with applause. Rachel's story becomes a headline across the nation. Not of a waitress fired, but of a woman who proved that compassion is stronger than cruelty. Her daughter looks up at her that night, whispering softly, "I'm proud of you, Mom." And Rachel finally sleeps without fear. The moral is clear. Kindness is never weakness. Sometimes the world will punish you for doing the right thing, but the truth has a way of finding its light. Courage may cost you something for a moment, but in the end, it always pays back in ways you never imagined. This is Elliot Stories reminding you that no act of love is wasted, no moment of courage is forgotten, and justice always comes, even if it takes time. Visit Elliot Stories for more inspiring stories that lift your heart and remind you of the power of hope.